Hello, BookTube. I'm here with, it's a very mini book haul. Got one book today from Courier. So I won't say it will be a short video, but we'll see how it goes. It's just a little bit of nattering around it. This was, I think it should be the final book of the Amazon that I order that I had for 15 books for £10. However, the one that's a specific that I knew was a print-on-demand book, Forgotten Books, I think, or something like that. On the one hand, excuse me, on the one hand, it says it's been damaged and returned, and on the other hand, it's still saying that it's on its way. So we'll wait and see. This one here was extremely cheap. It's a big honkin' book. It is The Mirror of Carmel, A Brief History of the Carmelite Order by Joachim Semmet, who is, he is, let's see, he's Father Joachim, of the Carmelite Order. Now, it's a history of a monastic order. He originally did it in 4 volumes, according to the back, and this is a compendium of 4 volumes, except the footnotes, which is a bit of a pain, but hey-ho, for just over £1, I can't actually complain. I've been interested in for a number of years. I haven't read anything recently. Wow. When I say recently, within the last 14 years, I did start rereading David Knowles. He did a mass. Well, he was a Benedictine monk. He taught at Cambridge, but he did a massive sort of history of monasticism in Europe. I think it's all Europe, is it? And in England. It's a multi-volume. Like, anyway, he did a whole bunch of stuff. They're sort of connected. My library, when it did have a half-decent reference section, had this set there. So I would go in. There would be days that I was working, or most days I was working from 4 o'clock to midnight, or 5 to 1, or 6 to 2. So I would go in most days to the library, spend a little time there on books and things that I can't take out. For instance, magazines. They had some good archaeology magazines, British archaeology, Egyptology, a few things like this, and they had this set and other books in the reference section. So I literally started reading or rereading the monastic order of, I should have looked up the titles. I've forgotten the full titles of the set and series and individual books. But anyway, I started rereading it slowly, and then like my work, well, the location of my work changed, so I no longer was going through the town center near the library. So I was getting there less and less. So I would get there maybe once a week. Then all of a sudden they wanted to make more computers. So they took out over half the reference section. That disappeared. So anything that I was interested in disappeared. And they got rid of most of the magazines. They kept, they got rid of anything, again, that I was interested in. So that basically put pay to me going to the library at all. And that's about 10 years ago almost. Almost 10 years ago. And I went back one other time just to get some mystery magazines, and then I had to put my books in storage, and they got mixed, or some of them got mixed up with my own book, so it wasn't until just over 4 years ago that I moved in where I am now that I took those back to the library, and I haven't been back since. Because when I moved here, they had nothing that I was interested in reading. But anyway, I know libraries can be good, but my library, if it's a blockbuster, they'll have 10 or 20 copies of latest blockbuster or graphic novel, but just nothing interesting me pretty well, so I don't go. But anyway, getting back to this, where my interest sort of stems from is I went to university for archaeology, but we'd have to take elective classes. And so I took 2 courses that were sort of history of religion, sort of Christianity, up to probably the Enlightenment, I guess, but they were split up. There was sort of the ancient one and then the medieval part. And both professors were fantastic. One was very dry, and you would almost fall asleep if you weren't careful. But it's just very knowledgeable, and he was talking about a lot of them. They've been teaching for a long time, so. And he would talk about professors he had, and he had a Jesuit priest that would come in when he was in university, and he was just a chain smoker, so he'd be just constantly smoking, and his notes would be on like little pieces of paper or on envelopes and things like that, and that's what his lectures were. But apparently the guy didn't need it, but it just sounded fantastic, the way the lectures are. And then the other one, that's where I got to know about David Knowles. He actually was a student of his in Cambridge in sometime in the 50s, I think it must have been. So I really got interested in sort of the monastic orders to a certain extent, and I took the set out of the library and I read them at that time, and I read them quite quickly, so most of the information just went everywhere, because it wasn't really part of the course so much. But I've always been interested in other orders as well, including the Carmelite order. So when I saw that, I went, whoa, okay. Well, yeah, I like the David Knowles one. He is a Benedictine, so he's writing about Benedictines to a large extent and other orders. So, somebody could say, well, that is conflict of interest, and so is this guy's because he's a Carmelite. But I love it here. It says it's a brief history, and it's 800 pages with the index, and with the endnotes, it would have been probably over 1,000, I would think. But yeah, no, it's a different area of reading that I haven't done for a long time. And again, I wasn't looking for anything like this. It just sort of it fell on me in a sense because I saw it there, so I got it. It's not as if I need other books, but there's no way I'm ever going to see something like this in the library here. This is not possible. If I ever did want to pursue it, I'd have to go to interlibrary loan, spend about £8 or £10, wait for it some more, get it. And then last time I did something like this, I got it for 2 weeks. I want to renew it. Oh, you got to go back into the system. So then you wait, you pay another £10, and it's like, no, I do not like that system at all. I just, as I said, that's one of the reasons why when I came to England, I started buying books again. I swore when I came, I wasn't going to. I was going to thought, oh, the libraries will be fantastic. I'll just use the libraries. That quickly changed when I couldn't find anything hardly at all. When I first moved to here, and I was in Milton Keynes, the Milton Keynes Public Library was okay. Like there was just general reading. Like they had some Orwell, they had the Canon out there. They had a lot of P.G. Wodehouse paperbacks that I burned through while I was looking for work. But then I moved here, and it's just dead. Like they do have the books, they're in storage or they're at other libraries, so you got to pay a minimum about £3 to get it. And I realized that, well, I want the P.G. Wodehouse ones, and then I found out that the Everyman Library was putting out a complete hardcover. The full price was $9.99, and I was picking these up for like £3 or £4 anyway. So I'm not going to spend £3 on the paperback, especially it's something I know I want and I'll reread over and over. So I just stopped. And I think it might have been my last visit or second last visit to Cambridge. We're talking maybe 2 years ago now. It wasn't last year. So yeah, I think it was probably the year before that on my birthday. And I was at G. David Booksellers. And I saw David Knowles a set of his books there. There was quite a few of them, but they were selling them as a set for £75. And I went, I knew that was still an okay price. They were in good shape, but I balked. And then I went to a charity bookshop, the other side of Cambridge, and I sort of decided, no, I do want them, so I called up G. David Bookseller. And in that time, of course, they were gone. So I've never sort of looked for them online, and I don't think I want to at this point because it's a lot of books. Like, even though I have this, I have no idea when I'm going to get sunk into this. It'll be something probably I'll stick in the back of a shelf and probably forget about it for a while. Maybe not. It depends on. At least I know I have it, and if I got the impetus or interest, then at least I can pull it out and read it. I was surprised though. I'm not surprised to the publisher. It's Carmelite Media, 2011. However, it's a print on demand book. It was printed in Milton Keynes by Lightning Source, and it's typical. It's not sewn, so it's perfect binding, but it is cloth. It is actually cloth, and it's made quite well. It's heavy. I think it would last a reading, but again, if paperback, it would have broken the spine just even open it up the way I did there. But you can see it's not sewn. It's perfect binding. But yeah, no, I was really surprised because I looked at that and I go, oh, that's sort of interesting. And then I looked at the page count and I went, oh. Even if it's a dud, it's worth £1 and a bit to get. So I know Jason Harrigan is I know you read around other areas of monasticism, I'm sure. So you might even be familiar with this book or the original 4 volumes and more than I ever have. I haven't read too much. I've only read, as I say, the David Knowles, a few general books at the time when I was going to university on monastic order, but I've always been interested in it. And as I say, I started getting back into some reading of that about 10 years ago, or just over 10 years ago here. But the library sort of put pay to that and got rid of all the books that I was reading. So yeah, there's other ones that I'm sort of interested in the Franciscans. I'm not sure if that would really be counted as, I guess they're monks, a Franciscan order. There's a few other orders that I'm definitely interested in, but the biggest ones were the 3, mostly the Benedictines, Carmelites, and Franciscans for me. I'm interested in Templars as well, to a certain extent, but maybe Jason could point me in an area because I know there's so much that's written by them, but a good, nice honkin', history of them would be quite nice. And I just don't even know where to begin with that because, as I say, you can get everything from your Dan Brown style all the way up to, I'm sure, academic tomes. But I want something that's extremely scholarly, maybe not academic as such, but definitely scholarly and a nice, good, meaty text for it. And so for my leisure reading. But anyway, no, I just thought because it sort of brought back some nice memories of university. I sort of deride and talk about like I didn't really enjoy my university so much, but it wasn't so much the experience of the university. I enjoyed that. I enjoyed the learning. I enjoyed most of my professors and the learning of learning and reading and discussion. It was the petty politics in many ways of how things were done. I just could not abide by that. But otherwise, it was just fantastic. Like when I took courses like this, and you got professors that regale you with just these stories of how with their professors, but at the same time they're giving you the lecture as well, and they interweave this so well. They were just consummate performers and professors. And I really, really miss that at times. And I had a few archaeology professors that were like that as well. But the ones that were really that way were the non-archaeology professors. They were the ones that did other areas that I took. And it was enjoyable time for that. But like the first, it wasn't probably until about the third year, into the fourth year, and that I really sort of got bogged down, and not bogged down, but it's just the politics thing came out. I want to do this with my education. Want to go pursue X for an MA, and told no, you're not going to. You're going to do this. And I said, well, wait a minute, it's my life. And yes, if I would have buckled down and followed orders, I could have probably had a pretty good academic life now. But I didn't. And I don't think I ever could have. That's the thing, because it would have been nice to have, a nice little cloistered academic life. But I don't think I could have survived it. That's the thing. But the learning part of it was really, really enjoyable. So anyway, little stroll down memory lane, a little different than the archaeology part. It was sort of, it's part and parcel with my archaeology education, but was sort of discovering monasticism and religious orders. Specifically sort of late antiquity and up to about light enlightenment. Anyway, I will leave it there, BookTube. It is 18 minutes, so it wasn't that brief, but not too bad. I will talk to you later. Bye.